this to me, like, feels like the journey of entrepreneurship, like trying to get these tasks done, building a business, jobs to be done, creating systems. And I've been surprised at how spiritual, and I use that word intentionally, like this journey's been for me, because I have all these ingrained habits around my ego, around needing to be the center of attention, which you've all recognized, around needing to brainstorm, around needing to walk into a room and drop things and new ideas. And it's been really, really interesting to see what having systems built into my life and then sticking with them have done for me. And so I would just, please remember, to me, it's been really hard to sort of believe that the process is what matters. Right? There's this real desire to arrive. And I can even feel it in this call. Like, you see all these systems, and you're like, whoa, that's amazing. And I'm so far away from, like, that's actually not at all what matters. I mean, I turned 50 this year. I've been trying for 25 years to get this right. You know what I mean? Like, most of you are way further ahead than I was. So just remember that the process never ends. And I think it's the expectation of getting it right that causes so much of the disappointment and frustration. And so now my favorite quote, I've been repeating this over and over. My wife actually repeats it now to me. We both say it all the time, which is Pema Chodron in When Things Fall Apart. She quotes her teacher as saying, treat chaos as extremely good news. And it's taken me a year to sort of start to figure out what that means. But now I'm like, if something breaks here, or I'm feeling anxious, or maybe I get a DM on Twitter that somebody like, hey, I emailed your team and I haven't heard back. Like, I now am like, oh, I treat that as extremely good news now, only because it gives me a chance to practice. Am I going to do the thing I used to do, which is, oh no, Jacqueline, how come this hasn't been taken care of? Rebecca, what have you done? Or am I going to do the thing I do now, or I'm trying to do now, which is, oh, that's interesting. I'm feeling that tension. Based on the systems we have, I bet there's just a miscommunication. I no longer have to get all fired up. Right? And I'm practicing right now, doing this calmly with you, but it's now that happens 9 times out of 10 instead of the opposite. So treat the idea that you've got a system you want to build and you're not there yet, and you have this tension, as good news, because it gives you a chance to practice. How am I going to respond? You've got a new idea. You just can't wait to get it to somebody. Can you throw it in the system instead of emailing the whole team? Man, that's hard. I can't tell you how many times I emailed Jacqueline all hours of the day, and she would say, got it. And then in our next meeting, she would say, hey, we have a system for this. So I'm trying to treat that as extremely good news, right? And so realize those Venn diagrams of like, here's what's important to you. Here's what you're actually doing. I found the stats. We don't have time to share them, but I found the ESPN stats and the reading the political news from on the opposite channel stats. Well, that's a huge gap. Well, the fact that I got that news, I got that information, I'm treating that as good news, because it gives me, without it, I can't close that gap. So you've got this ideal process you want to build so you can do the thing, and there's this gap and you're not there and you tend to get frustrated, and let the frustration be good news. Oh, I can practice. How can I get a little better tomorrow? And then as soon as we realize that's never going to stop, because as soon as you nail that one, there's going to be a new one and a new one. And as soon as we realize that's the reason we're alive, the easier this whole thing gets. So to me, that's how I think of this. As entrepreneurship for me is a spiritual journey of figuring out how can I become, it's just a forcing function. I don't really care about business at all. The business is just a forcing function to become the kind of person I want to be. That's it. Greetings, Carl Richards here. Now, the clip you just watched was just a little teeny portion of one of the monthly meetings we hold as part of the membership of the Society of Advice. And one of my favorite things is hearing what members say. And recently, one of the members said, this call, this monthly meeting, is like the single best keynote I could attend, and I get to attend 12 of them a year. So I think you might like it. To get an invitation, just click the link below.